Sharks have been on this planet for 400 million years, inhabiting our oceans even before the existence of trees. Humans have been targeting and wiping out about 100 million sharks per year. But we can't protect what we don't understand. And apparently, there is hope through shark ecotourism. And what is that tour about? Throwing fish blood into the ocean and then jumping in. Might sound scary, but what we should actually fear is an ocean without sharks. Now, under threat in the increasingly humanized seas, sharks still find refuge and freedom here in the Bahamas, which has been declared a shark sanctuary, with no shark fishing allowed since 2011.
So ladies, I'm about to free dive with sharks. What do I need to know to be safe?
So you free dive before,
yes,
which is a good start, but free diving with sharks is a little bit different. You're always going to have the safety in the water, which is the most important part. We have tiger sharks, we have lemon sharks, as you can see, we have reef sharks, so we have a lot of different species, and the different species of sharks react slightly differently to people being in the water. So you're going to be amazed at how comfortable they are having us in the water. We have 2 tiger sharks down here right now, which is pretty cool. So you always want to make sure you know where they are. Yeah. Follow the sharks down, figure out what pattern she's on, and just go and have some fun, man. It's so rad.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ready? Among the diverse shark species found here in the Bahamas is the oceanic white tip, which is a threatened pelagic shark species, usually found only in deep waters and hard to encounter. But here, tourists can swim with them.
So how do you think this shark fishing ban that the Bahamas have established in 2011 have impacted the country?
Sharks are estimated to bring in over $100 million a year in tourism dollars for the country. So you can think about the economy really benefiting from people who come to the country specifically because they want to go and swim with sharks. And it may not just be the diver who's taking somebody out to go and see sharks, but it's the taxi driver and the hotels and the restaurants and all of these other parts of our tourism industry that are benefiting because we have done such a good job in the Bahamas protecting our sharks.
Here, sharks are local heroes and form the backbone of Bahamas' tourism economy, bringing in more than $100 million per year in revenue from people like me who come to experience these face-to-face encounters with the ocean's top predators.
How did the Bahamas decide to make the country a shark sanctuary?
We recognize the importance of our marine environment. We had to ensure that the environment itself was maintained. And this, is a whole ecosystem. And, as the people say, the shark being the top of our food chain, it really helps to maintain the integrity of our environment. And if the shark disappears, then there's an imbalance. And of course, in any system, if there's an imbalance, destruction follows.
To achieve this historic milestone, NGOs and government officials realized that we can't protect what we don't understand. So their first step was focusing on dispelling shark fear and gaining the hearts and minds of local Bahamians.
I mean, in order to pass legislation to protect the environment, you need the support of the public, of the locals of Bahamas. How are you working to get them involved into conservation?
A lot of our work is focused on training students, working with teachers so that they can teach these messages in their schools, working with fishermen to talk about what our fisheries regulations are and why we have them, and working with our elected officials to really have a strong understanding of how some of these animals, sharks especially, are more valuable when they are alive and swimming around in the ocean than they are if you catch them and you sell them one time.
Stewart Cove, here in the Bahamas, is one of the largest shark diving operators in the world, taking thousands of tourists on shark diving expeditions each year. But unlike many diving operations worldwide, Stuart Cove also works hand in hand with local Bahamians such as fisherman Philip Seymour on shark education and conservation.
Going out fishing as a kid, you used to go with your grandfather on a little dingy boat like this. Like on Saturdays, no school. So from a kid, I never really understood it. I always look at sharks as like big predators, you know, or the water and they're dangerous. So with me doing that, I tried to overcome my fear being around them. And I went down to Stuart Cove, did a shark course with them. And after that, I came a bit more confident and then I understand it more. So now I look at sharks different and I understand their importance to the ocean and their well-being to the ocean.
And my whole life I was brought up thinking sharks were bad. You know, you go in the water, my mother would say, don't go too far out, the sharks will get you. I used to catch them and kill them, not purposely, but I mean, sometimes we'd catch them for fun. I remember once we caught a big tiger shark and we pulled it up on a hoist at a dock, and the press came by and took pictures, hero pictures of us with this shark. Ridiculous now, looking back on it.
With the constant flow of tourists coming in each year to encounter sharks, diving operators and locals adhere to strict shark tourism regulations.
Do you think it's dangerous for tourists to dive with sharks here?
Oh no, I don't think it's dangerous at all. As long as you follow all the rules, all right, you stay in the jurisdictions, doing everything that the guide says to do, or he don't say to do, you don't do it, it should be fine, you know.
Is there any con about a shark feeding operation?
I don't know of any con. The only thing I could possibly say is if we had a rogue operator take someone out there and do something silly and not follow protocols. We have an association, the Bahamas Diving Association. All the members follow the same protocols when feeding sharks or interacting with sharks.
This operation has been here for 40 years.
Yeah, nearly 40 years.
No accidents, no incidents, nothing?
No
So
accidents.
you can say it's pretty safe if you do it.
It's very safe, yeah.
Way.
And we've had United Nations, we have people from all over the world come to see the model of what Stuart has created here, and then they're going back to try and replicate it in their own countries.
Still, Bahamians are worried that the very sharks they are protecting will be targeted in neighboring islands. So their focus is to spread their shark tourism model worldwide, starting with the Caribbean.
I believe many of the countries share the same sharks. So if we protect sharks in the Bahamas, when they go down to Cuba, they get fished. And so the Cuban government now is working to come up with a policy. Now we just have to work on the United States. Most of the Caribbean has fallen into place is protecting sharks.
Are you committed in the long term to keep the Bahamas, as a shark sanctuary?
It's in our best interest. I mean, why would we go back to a place where it's not in the best interest of our marine ecosystem? People now, as a result of what we have done in the Bahamas, a number of other destinations are now wising up and are actually putting in place this whole shark conservation because they see it in their best interest.
Like Bahamas, other nations worldwide have already committed to declaring their waters as shark sanctuaries. But sharks see no boundaries and will continue to be targeted unless the entire world embarks on this journey together. Next, on shark tourism. Here in Playa del Carmen, in the Mexican Riviera, scuba diving with bull sharks is an increasingly popular activity. Even though shark feeding is still a controversial topic here, bull shark diving is bringing in more than $9 million per year in tourism income. But only a few miles away, fishermen still depend on shark fishing for a living.